What's something that every parent should tell their child? You aren't making a difference by arguing with shitheads on the internet. It's important to be kind, but you don't need to be everyone's best friend. Some people are just not going to like you, and that's okay. It goes both ways. Also, being a kid/teenager is fucking hard work. It gets so much better after high school, I promise. Now that's sound life advice right there. I appreciate your input. You won't always be right and what you say won't always change my mind, but I still value your opinion. Communicate with your kid. Most of the time you will know better than they will, but at least listen to what they have to say. Remember to also keep an open mind and be willing to compromise. A good parent shouldn't be afraid to apologize to their kid when they're wrong. Yeah, if you can apologize to a 3-year-old, you've got humility, which, to me, is a very important trait to have as a human being, especially as a parent. I remember this time when I was 5 to 6 or so, and my mom accidentally made a small grease fire, I'm talking like 4 inches across, in the pan. Apparently she never knew to not pour water on a grease fire, and when I told her, she did it anyways. Steam. You are loved, you are wanted, and regardless how you choose to live your life, he'll always love you. Reminds of the help you is kind, you is smart, you is important. Stop running around the restaurant, Jimmy. Also say I love you, but still, I love you, Jimmy, but you're gonna have to stop running around the gosh darned restaurant. I love you, just the way you are. And when you smile. It's alright to make a mistake, as long as you can admit it and grow from it. Unfortunately, most parents can't do it as well, so they blame the kid and insult it. Sadly true. I was fortunate enough that my mom often encouraged me to try something, and if I failed, then that'd just be an opportunity to learn how to do it better next time. It's horrible that a lot of children don't have that and grow up scared to try in case they fail. Look out for the smaller kids on the playground. Kindness is free, so make sure to use it. Part of our routine is asking who he was nice to that day. Now that I'm doing daycare drop-off, I ask who he can be nice to and sometimes offer suggestions on nice things to do. If anyone ever tells them, this will be our little secret, especially if it involves physical contact, my child needs to get as far away from that person ASAP, find a trusted adult, and contact me. My child will know they will not be in trouble for telling, and I will always believe them. There are good secrets and bad secrets. Bad secrets that make you feel unhappy don't need to be kept a secret. You either can tell me, grandma, or your teacher, and we all will work together to make that secret go away so you can feel happy again. You will never ever be in trouble for telling about a secret that makes you feel bad. This, exactly. Kids need to know you will love them no matter what's happened to them or what they were coerced into doing. Don't fucking go into any random people's vans or cars at all. But they're not random. They're friends of yours. Admitting they can be wrong sometimes. Parents are humans and make mistakes. Kids need to see that. Maybe also say thanks if the child is correcting their mistakes. Unless the kid is consistently rude about doing it. Don't let them be rude to others due to their errors. Everyone has problems. Learning from them is what shows a person's character. You will always be my child, and I'll always want to take care of you, but you have the right to ask me to let go when you feel the time is right. If you try to make it on your own but fall, call me anyway. I want to be there to catch you. After all, parents can't drive forever. At some point the kid needs to take the wheel. A parent's job is to make sure the kid is confident enough to ask for help when they need it. They don't need to know everything. Disclaimer, does not apply to actual cars. Sometimes, friends you trust will manipulate you. Parents should teach their children what manipulation is and how to avoid it. 'Cause it ain't so black and white. Be careful with your choice of friends. And with your choice of relationships. Sometimes none is better than one. People say kids should learn from their own mistakes, but goddamn if I didn't wish my parents had intervened in one of my shittier relationships. Took me 3 years to sort it out myself, and I don't feel better off for having wasted all that time and taken all that damage. parents are supposed to protect their kids too. I love you, I am proud of you, and I'm happy to have you. Sweet dreams. See you tomorrow, I'm proud of you. Gonna make me cry. Never gonna tell a lie. No means no. Yes. I've talked about consent very early with my kids, they're 4 and 7 now, and it's honestly super easy to explain and demonstrate in an age-appropriate way. My 4-year-old loves being tickled, finds it absolutely hilarious. So we have tickle fests, and I make a point to stop when he's laughing too hard to talk and ask if he wants me to keep tickling. Toss in okay, I just wanted to make sure you were still having fun. Rah-ah, the tickle monster is back. And boom, now you're modeling checking in and continuous consent. The second he says no, full stop. They need to politely greet and say goodbye to people, the host if we're visiting friends, plus grandparents, etc., but they do not need to allow physical contact that they don't want. Wave and bye Ms. X, thanks for having us, handshake, etc. is fine. Absolutely no guilting from people if they don't want a hug or whatever. Both are super affectionate with their friends, and each other, so I've had plenty of opportunities to remind them to ask before they hug. Just because they wanted to hug / hold hands / whatever last time doesn't mean they do this time, and that's okay. Just because that's your sibling doesn't mean you can do whatever you want, etc. Basically, it's not just a one-time no means no explanation. I feel like modeling it consistently is really important and sometimes gets overlooked a bit. Edit, this has admittedly led to a few times when my oldest has yelled I said no. No means no, mom. At me when I've told her to stop playing or do her homework or whatever, but we're working on the distinction. PFF, NGL, that last part is pretty funny. Glad you're being a good role model, though. Honestly, I had to learn consent by being on the opposite end of it. Lots of being guilted into hugs. So I'm glad your kids aren't going through that. Smile. Whenever another kid is being mean to them, physically or verbally, don't tell your child that the other kid was being mean to them because they like your child. Your child might grow up mistaking abuse for affection. You just have to imagine that both parties are grown up here. A little boy made fun of the way you act. Or sweetheart, he just has a little crush on you is all. Versus oh my goodness he won't let you do X because he doesn't like it. That's a red flag for a manipulative partner. Get out of there now. Why is it so bad when they're grown-ups but somehow cute when they're kids? Teach the one to have self-respect and the other to have respect for others, otherwise it turns into the second situation above. The proper terminology for their genitals. Other adults aren't always going to know what your kid means when they say someone played with my monkey or my tutu, and predators aren't going to call them by the proper names either, so it's another deterrent for abuse to occur. Vagina, penis, vulva, testicles, these are not dirty words, people. Edit, thank you for the award, kind stranger. I'm also glad to know my kids aren't the only ones embarrassing me to death. So thank you for the laughs too. Worth repeating, greater than vagina, penis, vulva, testicles, these are not dirty words, people. You get extra points if you get them in the right order. The doctors were amazed. Your low academic performance does not mean you'll be a failure in life. If you sprinkle when you tinkle, be a sweetie and wipe the seatie. Gentlemen, move closer, it's shorter than you think. Ladies, please stay seated for the whole performance. Sorry, when appropriate. Yay, spouse, daughter, our family. There are 2 responses for an apology. Thank you for your apology. And you don't need to apologize. In the first instance, it removes the feelings of the offended from needing to feel like granting forgiveness and instead simply acknowledges their apology. The second is there to provide feedback in case they apologize unnecessarily. I think it has been valuable in teaching the kiddo when an apology is appropriate. Hopefully they take that lesson when they go out into the world and not be someone who always thinks they did something wrong and is apologizing constantly. Edit, spouse says, it's also that you thank them for the apology and then that's it. Not thank you but next time, or thank you but you made me feel. It's finished. You are also not there to do detective work trying to decide if they really meant it or not. Just say thanks and move on. Be kind. You never know what someone might be going through, and I love you. Sometimes you're just collateral damage in someone's war with themselves. I don't know why, but this made me tear up. Express that it's okay to feel uncomfortable and not want to do something. I saw a post where a mother taught her daughter to say hello, but if she didn't want a hug or a kiss on the cheek, she was never forced to do so. If the kid felt comfortable, she would do it. Expressing that this is okay seems pretty important. Emo. Maybe not your life is too easy, you have nothing to be depressed about. This. I had to go to a physiotherapist last year because of pain in my diaphragm, and they told me that the pain was a result of stress. When I told my mom, she was like, "The fuck do you have to be stressed about?" When I was on multiple antidepressants and barely functional, my mom always just said it must be my diet and I needed to go outside and let the sun hit my retina. Childhood is like being drunk. Everyone remembers what you did except you. So be careful. My dad. Except we're also going to use everything you do to belittle you, make you feel like you're unwanted, and pressure you to be a copy of us at the expense of who you actually are. My parents, they have a poor outlook. You can learn both positive and negative lessons from parents, and you can choose to live the opposite way. I hope you can value yourself regardless of anyone else's opinion. Smile. Knock the door, better you enter. Oh my gosh. Yes. It's non-verbal, but knocking, and even better, waiting for permission to enter before doing so, is so important, especially for teens. It gives them their own sense of privacy and freedom, and that's so important. It's a matter of discretion, and you might not like what you're about to witness. Just knock on the door before entering somewhere. Do you want to talk about anything? I wish my parents would ask me this. Same friend. If you make a mistake and need help, come to me. Kids tend to make bad situations worse by trying not to get caught. I know way too many people who got in drunk driving accidents because they were too afraid to call their parents for help and drove home or got in the car with a drunk driver. My mom told this to me, and I think a lot more parents should. I don't care if you get too drunk at a party as long as you tell me and I can pick you up. I won't yell, I won't punish you, as long as you are responsible and it doesn't happen all the time. In my opinion, teaching your kids it's okay to be a bit rebellious, make mistakes, and live their life in their teens is a good thing to do. I never had a reason to not trust my mom because of this. OFC, I got consequences for some things, but if I ever made a mistake and needed her, she was there. I had to lie about everything growing up. My mother was so strict, she tried to control everything from what music I listened to what friends I could have. Mistakes were not tolerated. Now I'm in my 30s and she doesn't know me at all. I'm more of a distant acquaintance than a daughter.